Okay, so let me start by apologizing ahead of time if I start coughing. This nasty cough is back. It left and it's back, so we're dealing with it. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to think of any struggle that you're having in your business that you would like to talk about today. Of course, you know I always come prepared to talk about something, but I want to make sure we touch on what you guys are having trouble with, okay? Not how do I log into the PC calendar, those kind of questions. Actual moving your business forward struggles, okay? Those are things we can have May help you with, the calendar things and such. Excuse me. So go ahead and put in the chat if you have something that you want to mastermind around. And then I, before we're done today, have a question for each of you. Okay, so getting listings. That seems to be a big topic. So those of you that are talking about listings, and I don't just say that because 2 people put in the chat around sellers, it's in general, that's a big topic right now, right? So bear with me today. I may just randomly mute momentarily because you don't need to hear the hacking. Lead follow-up. Okay. Sellers. We're seeing a pattern here. Awesome. Hey, Emily. Hi, Nikki. Okay. So, first of all, I want to start by bringing to your attention, I just sent out an email. So if you have not yet RSVP'd, this is like the 3rd time in the 4th or 5th place it's been sent out. Please do so, because I am bringing a listings workshop to you guys in June. I'm going to be in person at different market centers, and we'll be Zooming everybody. So we are going to be talking about all things listings, all things sellers. Okay. So make sure if that is a big question that you have, that you plan to be there. All right. Thank you, Sebastian. I hope you're better too. Okay. So, Carlos, you say finding sellers by door knock. So give us a little bit more information about that.
So when I go door knocking, I talk to people that they sound motivated. They want to know the information, but I'm still not able to, like, they're just on a follow-up smart plan. They're not, I try to talk to them to see, what's their time frame. What are they, wanting to get out of it, but they're just like, there's still something holding them. And for me, what I think it is, is the new interest rates. They're so locked in on the 3%, 2.5%, monthly payments, and that they don't want to pay anything extra. So whenever they have to refinance or buy another property, they're going to be paying the new rate. So that's why they sound like they want to buy a better home, a bigger, upgraded home, but that monthly mortgage rate is what's stopping them. And I already talked to them. I already told them about discount points. I told them about having sellers pay for closing costs and things like that. But still, I know it. I'm pretty sure they're gonna sell. It's just a matter of when. I don't know.
Okay. So there's a difference between somebody who may just want to sell their home because they want to upgrade or they want to change their circumstances versus somebody who needs to and is really ready, right? Remember, we talk about in Ignite, those that are able, ready, and willing. And it's those 3 things that are needed. Oftentimes, you'll have somebody ready and able, but not willing, or ready and willing and not able, right? And this could apply to buyers too, but I want to keep our conversation centered around sellers. So it's super important when you're talking to sellers, and even if you're at the door, Carlos, do you take the seller qualifying questions with you?
No, I do not.
Okay. So I'm going to encourage you to start doing that, because if you're door knocking and you get a live one that's actually telling you they're thinking about selling, that would be the same thing as if you were circle calling or calling your sphere and they say, hey, yeah, I've been thinking about selling my house. What's the first thing that you should do when someone says that?
Why? What's great? Why is the reason?
So, okay, what's the first thing? And anybody can answer this, right? This is for everybody. What is the first thing that you should do if somebody says, I've been thinking about or I want to sell my house?
Set an appointment.
The first thing you should do.
Um,
Before that.
Get their name and emails information.
Okay, that's part of it.
Why you want to sell?
That's part of it.
Let me sell it for you.
Where want to move?
I'm going to share this screen. Okay. Whenever somebody raises their hand to sell their home in any way, right? I want to, I'm thinking about it, maybe, doesn't matter. We ask the seller qualifying questions. And part of why we have a hard time getting from the initial statement or comment that I'm thinking about selling my house and going into all these conversations about rates and this and that and the other, that's not moving the ball forward. Okay, that comes later. We need to make sure we are asking them all the qualifying questions, because we have to get to the heart of the motivation. If they're not motivated, if they're not an A seller, maybe a B seller, these aren't people we're going to spend our time setting appointments with. These are people we're going to put into command and let the smart plans do the work until they become an A seller. Okay. We find out how serious they are by asking these questions. And this goes back to Ignite. So all of you, this is in the toolkit. This is where I'm sharing this from. Okay. So I'm going to go backwards so you can see exactly where I got it. We are in the toolkit, in the conversation helper library, in seller conversations, the pre-listing questionnaire. Okay. This should be all that anyone does when somebody says they want to sell their home. Okay. Now, keep in mind, how did you hear about me? If you just knocked on their door, you're probably not going to ask that question, right? Okay. But where are you moving? Talk to them. Get them in a conversation. So why are they moving, right? So where are you moving to? Oh, I just got a job transfer and I'm moving to Texas. Or, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it yet. You see the difference in the answers? Okay, so what's motivating you to move there? Well, I just got a job transfer. Or, I don't know, I just thought it would be a nice change of pace. You see the difference in the answers? If they just got a job transfer, what type of seller are they? A, yeah.
They are motivated.
Yeah, if they didn't, they're just thinking about it, what kind of seller are they?
Sit on a side corner.
Yeah, they'd be categorized as a C seller, somebody we wait and see, right? Because if we don't know their motivation, all that other stuff is just static. Oh, I'm worried about interest rates. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. That's static. Until we know what their motivation is, those conversations don't matter yet, right? So how soon do you have to be there? My new job starts in 60 days versus, oh, you know, we're starting to think about it because my son's graduating from high school next year. See the difference? Then the next question, if you sell your home in the next 30 days, will that pose a problem for you? Right? So if you have a plan and you can get it sold in 30 days, and we most likely can in this market, what's the problem? What do we need to help them with?
Yeah, see, and for me, when I use some of these questions, but I haven't used if we sell your home in the next 30 days. That's a really good one.
Yeah, so I'm going to encourage you, if anyone who's door knocking, make sure you have this printed out or have it on your phone or your tablet or whatever it is that you're taking with you, because this is the same thing you answer somebody when you're calling your sphere, or your circle calling them, and they say they want to sell their house. You go right into these questions. And if you are skipping these questions, and when I say you, I'm talking to all of us, right? If we're skipping these questions, we are skipping the key piece to know who we're working with and what their motivation is. This is why a lot of times we can't get people to move forward. We're spending our time trying to get people to move forward that aren't yet ready. But we don't know that unless we ask the questions. So you should never do anything else with a seller until you ask these questions. Find out the information. Okay? What if your home didn't sell? How much do you want to list your home for? Where's their mind at with price? How much do you owe on the property? Okay. At this point, you're going to know if they're A, B, or C. And if they're C, what are we going to do with them?
I think, like I said, I use pretty much all of these questions. The only one I haven't used is number 5, and that is a very key, because that would tell you right then and there if they could sell it within the next 30 days to 60 days. So yeah, that's a very important question.
It is a very important question. All of these are. And really, you see how one builds on the next, builds on the next. And if an answer brings up another question in your mind, by all means, ask the question. But let's not go down rabbit holes of conversations about, well, what if this, what if that, what if the other, right? Until we have this conversation. This is the conversation that sets the tone. Because if they are not ready, all that other conversation is moot. It doesn't matter, right? So if they're not ready, we're going to put them in command. We're going to put them on a neighborhood nurture. We're going to let the system do the work, and we're going to reach out to them periodically to talk to them. If they're ready, we're going to set an appointment, right? And then we're going to give them the pre-listing packet. We're going to talk about all of that in our listing workshop that's in 2 weeks, okay? So we'll take a deeper dive into this then. But remember, don't go off in rabbit trails in conversations before asking these questions and finding out their motivation. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. And here's what happens, guys. I know that we all get excited because, oh, they said they might want to sell their home. And then now we start doing everything we can to get them to sell their home because they said they might want to sell their home. But if they aren't ready, it doesn't matter, right? And we can't force someone to be ready. We can just be there when they are ready. Does that make sense? Does that help? Okay. Did that help, Carlos?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. So you're going to start taking this list with you?
I'll try. But like I said, I used all these questions already. It's just that one I haven't read it, so now I could definitely implement it now. So, but as far as like taking the sheet, I'll probably take it just so that way. But it's on my phone. I have access to on my phone.
You can pull it up on your phone.
Definitely, I could like put it on one of my favorites because I have a list of favorites that I constantly go to. So I definitely will do that. Put it on my favorites so that way when I go to my pictures, just go to my favorites and it'll be right there.
Yeah.
But I pretty much already used just all these questions, except for that fire. I don't, that's the only one I haven't been using. So definitely will start using it.
So remember though, when they start getting into the weeds with all these other reasons they don't want to sell, that's not where we start convincing them, right? That's where we start nurturing them. And over time, they'll be ready and we can talk about them and we can educate them. But if you're trying to do it all in one conversation the first time you knock on the door, depending on how that conversation's going, you might actually turn them off. So we want to just be conversational, build that rapport, and then follow up with maybe some answers to some other things.
Yeah. No, and like I have a few sellers, but they're, as soon as I like talk to them, then I'll, without even asking that question, I'll decide whether they're going to be a sell now or a sell later. And most of them are sell laters. I get their whole why. They like one, for example, one was saying he wants to move closer just to be more in town, which is a great. But I was talking to Lori, and Lori was like, she was like, that's not his why. Like, you need to get deeper in there and find out what's the real reason. So that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yep. Digging deeper. That's the key. When it's a surface answer, that's usually not the answer, right? So when we're getting surface answers, we need to ask more questions. And eventually you'll know when you get to the motivation. You'll know when you get there. And then that's what's going to help you. But don't spin your wheels on people that aren't ready yet. And use that as I'm building my pipeline, right? Because when they are ready, with constant follow-up through the system and then your own personal follow-up, depending on how long, right? They'll be ready to use you at that time. Okay. So Sophie, hopefully that kind of helped answer part of your question, right? Finding motivated sellers. And part of finding them is you got to have conversations. You're not going to find anyone if you're not talking to people. So you got to be making your calls. You got to be not afraid to talk to strangers when you're out and about, right? When you go order coffee at the counter, ask the barista behind the counter if they know anyone looking to sell a home. Cisco agrees. I don't know if anybody can hear him. So
yeah, I'm getting better at talking to people in line that I'm waiting in line for. So how's your day going? And then just try to spread conversation from there. So I'm getting better at that.
That's good. That's good. Wear a KW shirt. Wear a KW. Maria's got a hat on, right?
I know that's what I need to do.
The girl that sells real estate. So do things like that. Wear a name tag upside down. I think some of you have heard me say that. When they say, hey, did you know your name tag's upside down? You can say, oh, it worked. Yay. Good way to start a conversation if you're unsure how to start a conversation.
I think it's like Carlos is saying, there are a lot of people that want to sell and they say they want to sell, but they're not really motivated. Like they don't really have to sell that.
Right. So those are the ones we're not going to waste our time on. It doesn't mean we're going to give up on them. It means we're going to put them in command. We're going to put them on smart plans, right? And we're going to put them on a smart plan that reminds us every 2 or 3 months to personally reach out to them, so that it's not just all emails they're getting or texts, right? But we're not going to waste our time today with people who aren't ready later.
I would be careful with that because I did that. I mean, you got to put them in the right smart plan. So definitely try to get their why and then put them in the right smart plan, because I did that. Just happened to me. I put them in a smart plan. They said that they want to buy and sell, but when I got to their motivation, they said, oh, we're going to do it in about three months from now. So I was like, all right. So I put them in a smart plan, and like within like 2 weeks, like I did not even go. I mean, I basically didn't have no task to reach out for about almost 2 weeks. So when I was ready to reach out to her, she had called me the day before, because in the smart plans it tells you the future smart task coming up. Well, she had called me the day before I was supposed to call her, and she's like, hey, I'm ready to buy and sell. And she was almost gonna go with another agent. She told me, she goes, yeah, I was about to call this other agent, but then I completely just remembered about you, so I just called you. So I almost lost that client, and she's a cash buyer. I almost lost her by not following up with her.
Well, and that's important. You've got to base your follow-up based on the prior conversation you had, right? So sometimes it may be 3 months before you reach out. Sometimes it may be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It depends on your prior conversation. But Carlos, don't discount the power of that smart plan. Just because she called you the day before you were going to call her, she remembered you because your smart plan was in front of her regularly. So that is the power of those smart plans.
Well, it was barely the first task for her to do, like for me to reach out. So, so I hadn't talked to her after that. But Lori was saying you should definitely, those smart plans were like just temporary. Use those smart plans as temporary just to keep in touch. Once you have a conversation with them, that smart plan should either go away, and then you should start using tasks as a better way to, I think it was Lori, it might have been somebody else, but she was saying how you should definitely get rid of, start using tasks and just set tasks from there.
It depends on the circumstance, right? If it's a seller that's not ready for over a year because their child's not graduating high school for over a year, a smart plan with a neighborhood nurture is fine with a 3-month reach out in person on the phone, right? Okay. If it's somebody who's ready in 3 months, you're going to want to make sure you're following up with them. You could call them in a couple weeks and say, hey, I was just thinking, you mentioned wanting to sell your house in about 3 months, I guess about 2.5 now since we last talked. Do you have any questions for me that I might be able to help you with to get prepared? Right? So calling and reaching out with a coming from contribution, right? Not, hey, are you ready to sell your house now? You told me it was 3 months. Are you ready yet? Right? So it's different case by case. So each conversation is going to kind of dictate how you follow up, but to never not have them on a neighborhood smart plan. Okay. That doesn't mean you won't schedule tasks for certain ones because you don't want to forget things and have them fall through the cracks. So absolutely use them in tandem.
Yep.
Okay. Sebastian, what's some things you could sort of break the ice? Okay. So things that you say to break the ice. First of all, I would never go door knocking or calling without a reason, right? We're not just going and saying, hi, this is Sebastian with Keller Williams. Have you thought about selling your house? We want to pick areas. Maybe it's the area you live in, right? Hi, this is Sebastian. First of all, when you're door knocking, the first thing I would say is, hi, I know you weren't expecting me. I promise to be brief. If you start out that way, you're going to diffuse any potential irritation with people answering the door. That's the first thing you should say. And then just introduce yourself that you're with Keller Williams. And you know what? I'm not just a real estate agent, but I'm also your neighbor. And I'm just wanting to get to know my neighbors and see if you had any questions that I might be able to help you with. So your own neighborhood or a neighborhood where a home just sold with multiple offers, that way you're helping those other buyers potentially find a house in the neighborhood. So always have a reason when you go, not just, hi, this is so-and-so with Keller Williams, right? Because that's just being salesy. And that's not what this business is. We want to build relationships.
Yeah, I use sold homes. I'll go on the market, see what a home just got sold. And then if it got sold in a little bit of days, then I'll go down and be like, hey, did you know that this home just got sold in X amount of days? There's a lot of buyers wanting to move into the area. You ever thought about selling?
Yeah, that's good.
That's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other thoughts around any of this? Is there anyone on the call right now that's having good success finding sellers? Val?
No, I thought good success. Well, finding sellers, I'm still working on one that I have found door knocking, but still nurturing. He still hasn't made a decision yet. But I thought just good success. I just submitted a cash offer that I'm super excited about, and so that's why I joined a little later. So just happy.
Yay. Congratulations! You'll have to let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I really hope it goes through. We'll see.
Good job. We always like to share wins. So anybody else having good successes with other things?
Hi, Jolly. Jodi, I try to basically use, I'm going to do an open house hopefully this weekend, and I'm trying to use the open house as an excuse. Who will be my open, will be maybe calling, say, okay, yeah, I have this open house, this day is so-and-so, the house is in this area, super nice area, talk about the house, and from there, maybe talk about, okay, do you have, somebody on the neighborhood that is looking to maybe move to this area, maybe a coworker, something like that. How I transition from there to maybe, what about you? Are you going to sell? I don't know. I am trying to see I'm trying to do it as smoothly as possible. I try to be as a conversation, but at the same time, it's like, okay, how I do it and without sounds like a machine or something like that. I don't know, trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And remember, one thing we don't want to do, that's a really great question, Demas, and welcome, by the way. Demas is new to our group. That's a really great question. And one of the things we don't want to do is we don't want to force a conversation to just go and go and go if it's not feeling natural, right? Because that would be, now we're going to put that in command. We're going to put that neighborhood nurture, and we're going to follow up later to see if they have additional questions. Excuse me. But what I would do with an open house is go door knock the neighborhood. I would door knock a minimum of 50, 100's even better, houses in the neighborhood, letting them know on this day and this time, you're having an open house at this address, right? And I just wanted to invite the neighbors, because also, and you can also say, and often it's neighbors in the area that know of ones who want to move into the neighborhood. Do you happen to know of anyone you could send to the open house? Right? And it can be that simple. You don't have to force the conversation to continue. Remember, number one, you're looking for solid leads, right? So, and you want to get through 100 homes. So you don't want to have half-hour conversations at every door. But if they are really interested, they're going to talk to you, right? The conversation's going to continue, and you won't have to worry about that. Now, if you feel someone was interested, but it didn't quite go there, make a note of it and follow up later. But don't force a conversation to continue in the moment. If you're feeling like you have to force it, or what should I say next, that's going to turn people off. Okay. So simply invite them to the open house. Ask if they know anyone moving to the area that they can invite. You'd be happy to see them on whatever day and time. It's really that simple.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mohammed asked a good question. Is rental apartments good for door knocking? Absolutely. So door knocking in neighborhoods that are apartments that they let you, where you know the rents are high, definitely. Now, don't just go door knock any old apartment complex, right? You want to go into areas where you know people are paying rent equivalent or more than even or close to what they pay in a house payment. Those are excellent ways to door knock, and partner up with a lender, one from your market center, right? Reach out to your market center lender and have them create a flyer for you that says rent versus buy and how much money they could save. Yes, even in today's interest rates, if they buy a house versus paying rent somewhere. So I encourage every one of you on this call, reach out to your local market centers lenders. Okay, they're all in the who's who in the PC toolkit, and ask them about a rent versus buy so you can door knock rental neighborhoods. Great question. Anything else before I ask you my question? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm actually going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to think, because I want everyone on here to put an answer into the chat, and please put it so everyone can see it, not just me. Okay. Here's the question. Are you ready? What is the one thing you are not doing, regardless of why? It doesn't matter if, oh my gosh, that scares me, I don't want to, I've never tried it, whatever. What is the one thing you are not doing that you know, if you did it, would make a difference in your business?
A few moments later.
I love this. So the reason that I asked this question is I really want you to think about this. Okay, so we had several comments around open houses. So I'm assuming the couple that said open house, that just are meaning doing open houses in general. Like you haven't done an open house yet. So let me ask to that before we get into some of the other comments where it's a little more detailed. Why have we not done open houses yet? What's holding you back?
Well, I actually didn't answer this, but I know I haven't done in my open house yet. I haven't done it yet. So I've been reaching out to agents, asking if I could do open house for them. And I've contacted about like 10, 15 agents asking for them, but I haven't got any luck yet. And besides that, I know I need to get my own listing so I could do my own open house on it, because I know that'd be the best way to go.
Yeah, you don't have anyone telling you no, potentially the seller, but unlikely if it's your own listing, right? Good job for reaching out to people.
Yeah.
Emily, you want to address that?
Stalk the agents. I went 6 weeks with not being able to find an open house. Everybody either wanting to do their own, or houses selling too fast, or just flat out ghosting me, getting crickets back. And in one day I scheduled 3 because I think they got tired of me harassing them. Might have been some other reason, I don't know. But you just have to keep asking. Start on Monday and keep asking like all week long. The closer it gets to the weekend, the more likely they'll have decided they don't want to do one, or the house is still on the market, so they realize that maybe there should be an open house for the weekend. And so just every single day, any possibilities, you're sending them a text, hey, I'm still available. And I always make sure that I'm this close to groveling, you know, I'd really, really appreciate it. I really need to get my name out there. Please, you know, I can do you a solid back, you know, just whatever it takes.
Mohammed?
Yeah, thank you.
I've been asking, even I asked my market center, and she is sending everyone every Monday, if you need any help, people, they are here to help. I haven't got no answer. I even asked if I can, for my first open house, follow somebody and sit with them and find out exactly what they do. But unfortunately, no one accepted my offer yet.
Well, and so that's unfortunately, we're going to see, we went in a market, we were in a market where open houses were hard to come by because things were selling like this. Then we started coming out of that. It took a little longer and open houses came back. Well, now we're going back the other way. However, that doesn't mean there aren't any out there. So we still need to be asking, we still need to be trying to get those open houses. But like Emily said, in an ideal open house, and if you've watched the Ignite one, so if you've not yet watched the Ignite session for open houses, I'm going to encourage you to do that, okay? But if you have watched it and it says you start on a Monday and you have it set by Tuesday, and then you're doing all your marketing, that is the ideal way to do it, okay? However, like to Emily's point, with the market we're in now, sometimes they're in negotiations, they think it's going to be an escrow, so they don't want to have anybody do it. So don't give up, even if it's you get it on Friday to do it on Saturday. Is that ideal for pre-marketing? No, but it's better than not doing it at all. Okay, so don't give up just because it took all week. Because I know that everything says best practices by Monday or Tuesday, have it solidified. And that is true normally. But right now we have to adjust with our market. Okay. So for those, Esmail.
Yeah, I have a question. So what is the best way when you want to reach out to other agent to like host their open house? I did that. I reached out several agents and only one responded. And I mean, all of them almost said that, oh, they prefer to run that themselves, at least for the first week. And if you go to the second week, I was told, oh, we'll let you know if you can help us for the second run, something like that. And also I offer them, so I can do their own photography for them for free because I'm a licensed FAA and I have it their own. I also offer that to them, this site, that I can do like their own videography, photography for you for free if they want. But I think they're scared that I don't know what they're thinking, how they think. I think they because I don't know. I think they're scared to like collaborate, like to let me do something. I don't know. Maybe they think I was stealing their client. I don't know what they're thinking exactly. I don't know how when I don't know what is the best way how to like text them?
Okay, so that's a lot to unpack and good questions. Okay, so first of all, I can pretty much assure you nobody's worried about you stealing their client, okay? Because first of all, the seller is already signed a listing agreement with that agent. So they're not going anywhere, okay? You're not going to, if you do an open house for somebody, those leads are yours. They don't belong to the selling agent because you're the one doing the open house, okay? What'll happen sometimes if agents, particularly a team that has listings, they're going to give them to their team first, which might be what they're talking about. You know, the first time we're going to do it. If we need to do another one, we'll reach out to you. That's also common. Okay. So my suggestion when finding open houses is look through your MLS, look through the listings in your office that are vacant listings. Okay. Because those are the list agent doesn't typically have to get permission for that, or they can just send a text and say, hey, we're doing an open house, right? So it's super easy. Text the agent, don't call or email because they probably won't answer the phone and they probably don't look at their email. I know that no one reads their email in their entirety. Otherwise, more than 8 people would have RSVP'd for my upcoming classes in 2 weeks that we're coming in person to bring value to you. And if you're not going to bother to RSVP, I'm not going to travel. Okay. So that's how I know people don't read email. So if you're not reading your email, neither are other agents, especially agents that are super busy. Okay. So that was a funny plug, tried to be funny plug for the upcoming classes. Don't forget to RSVP if you haven't. So Esmail, the key is just keep trying, but text vacant houses. And you're in Lake Forest, right?
Yeah, I live in Akron, for the Lake Forest office.
Okay, so my understanding is they allow you to do open houses outside of your market center. So you're not limited to your market center. So anyone that's on here from West Ventura County, and I see them, you are limited to your market center. You cannot do open houses outside of your market center. That is your broker requirement. Okay. It has nothing to do with anything else. The other market centers, Tulare County, Central Coast, you can go outside of your market center. Okay. As far as downtown LA, you'd have to ask. I'm not sure. So it's a broker by broker decision. Okay.
I didn't know Tulare could.
Yes. Now, here's another tip for those of you who can go outside of your market center. And I apologize to those who can't. But look for listings from agents out of the area because you have a better shot of doing an open house for somebody versus them traveling to the area to do it. Now, Emily has tried that. It's not 100%, right? But it's still going to increase your odds of getting the open house. Okay. How do you search the MLS for vacant homes? Okay, so in the MLS, it will say, and every MLS is different, so that's why we don't talk about this a lot, but you should have occupant somewhere in your MLS. And so it'll be either owner, tenant, or vacant. Okay. Is it perceived to be a negative thing when an agent other than the listing agent hosts the open house? Not at all. It's very common. Matter of fact, super successful agents don't waste their time doing open houses anymore, which is kind of sad because there's lots of leads in that, but not at all. That actually shows people that you're willing to work. And so that's not at all a bad thing. How do I find it? Okay. At the Central Coast, yes, you can go outside of your market center. We just had that confirmed on last week's team meeting. We've been trying to find that out for a while for Emily, who hasn't been able to find an open house. So I do know Central Coast, Tulare County, and Lake Forest, you can go outside of your market center. West Ventura County, you cannot. The other two, I don't know for sure. I think, but not for sure. So check with your broker. Okay. Okay. Accountability partner. So your accountability is in your group coaching and other things that we do even here. I encourage you, though, reach out to others, especially if you're in daily Kickstart and there's others in there with you. Find another agent in our program and have some accountability with each other. I think that is fantastic, because the more accountability you have, the better you're going to do. So just reach out to anyone in the program that also wants that accountability. WVC is West Ventura County. That's one of our market centers. Okay, so let's kind of go through some of these other ones here. So a lot of people said door knocking in your own neighborhood. So let me ask you, to those that said door knocking, what's holding you back?
I don't know. I guess I know it's a limiting belief because I hate when people come in door knock or like knock on my door, and I just get irritated. I don't know why. And I think that everybody else is the same.
You know, I understand that, because I'm one of those too. But here's the thing. I have a ring, and if I don't want to answer my door, I don't answer my door. So I feel that if people don't want to answer their door, they're not going to. So I wouldn't let that hold you back. And the reason that I say that is because, especially in your own neighborhood, right? Because if you're just going out and trying to be a neighbor and get to know your neighbors, that's not being salesy. That's not being anything other than getting to know people, building those relationships, so that in time, the next sign in your neighborhood isn't somebody else's, but it's yours, right? So Ross, anybody that knows Ross Hartman in this group, he's often on Daily Kickstart. Excuse me. He does the vast majority of his lead gen door knocking, and he's been very successful. So is it for everyone? No. Do you have to do it that way? No. But if you're good at it and it's working and you're comfortable, you should do it. If you're only not doing it because you're worried about people not answering the door, I would say go do it anyway, because if they don't want to answer, they're not going to.
Yep. And I've had a lot of conversations with Ring cameras.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, and Carlos is also one that does a lot of door knocking. Thank you. So if you're like me, the dog's in the window barking, I'm looking at the ring, I go tell the dog to get down and come here, and we wait till they leave. And then if I look out of the ring and want to answer it, I'll answer it. It's that simple. Okay, it feels salesy. Elaborate on that, Kate. Go ahead and unmute and tell us what you're thinking.
I just feel like I've read a lot about how that was more of like an old way of doing things, and how marketing and real estate is shifting a lot with like the digital era and social media and stuff. And I know that it's still good and like valuable to have those like face-to-face conversations, but I'm wondering if there's like a way to not have it be so salesy feeling because of the way that people perceive that, or like they were saying, like don't like that and get annoyed by that. So just kind of working with that and mindset around that.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because I know you're not the only one that feels that way. And here's what we have to be careful of. We have to be really careful that we don't put our own limiting beliefs off onto other people. Okay. Because Carlos has had great success with door knocking. Ross has had great success with door knocking. There are many agents that I know that have had great success with door knocking. Part of it is how you do it, right? Like we talked about earlier, and I don't remember if you came on a little bit later, but when you door knock, you don't go door knock and say, hi, this is Kate with Keller Williams. You thinking of selling your house? No, that's salesy, right? But if you go door knock for an open house, and I'll use this example again, because there's a few people that have said that in their what's holding them back, is, hi, this is, or first of all, start off with, and I'm going to repeat this because it bears repeating. Hi, I know you weren't expecting me, and I promise to be brief. So right there is going to quiet down any negativity, okay? And then just say, my name's Kate. I'm with Keller Williams. And the reason I'm stopping by is because this weekend I'm holding an open house at 123 Main Street. And I wanted to invite you personally. And we also realize that it's neighbors nearby who know of people wanting to move into the area. So I'd love if you'd invite anybody that you happen to know of. That's it. So when we do these things, whether we're calling, whether we're door knocking, we're doing it with a purpose. We're coming from contribution. We're never salesy, because this is a relational business. And yes, things have changed with how we market, but taking the personal out of it will never change, ever. Okay? We have to build relationships and build rapport with people, or we're not going to be successful in this business. That, however, can be done partly on social media. I noticed some of you have said not active on social media. So why are we not active on social media? What's holding you back there?
I don't know. I think I posted one of those, but like, I just don't want to like post a lot of, and I normally don't post of my family or stuff like that, or things I do. So I just don't know. I'm usually on TikTok, and whenever I'm not working, I'll be on that or on some little game, phone game or something. But yeah, I just don't get on social media or post a lot.
Well, social media, it's a personal choice, right? And social media is a huge way to market to people. The people that you know, those of you that feel like you're not reaching out to your sphere enough, make sure they're all on social media.
Yeah, and like I'll like them. I'll comment every now and then. But like as far as like go to my friends list and then calling like or reaching to one of them out, like that's what I'm not doing.
I'm not talking about calling them. That's not what we're talking about with social media. We're talking about doing your 10-10-5 every day, liking, commenting, sharing, or doing a personal message on the messaging in there, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm not doing right there, is sending a personal message to them. I'll like their stuff, but I just like, and then comment every now and then, but I'm not reaching out to them or sending them text messages personal.
How come?
Because I'm focused on door knocking and open houses.
And you want more business?
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying I need to do that more.
So here's the thing though, use that. Okay, let's just use an example. Okay, we're coming up to where graduations are going to be happening up the wazoo right now, right? So look in your social media, look for people who are graduating, right? People who have kids who are graduating, who may potentially be a future client, whether it's now or a year from now. And then either private message them through the social media app or send them a text or pick up the phone and call. Hey, I noticed your son's graduating this year. Congratulations. How are you doing? Use social media to give you reasons to call or text or reach out. So just to the point too, that it was said on here, calling the sphere more than texting, then use social media as a way to find something to call about. Remember, every phone call doesn't have to be about real estate. This is about building relationships. If the conversation goes there, don't shy away from it, because this is how we build our business. But if it's the first time you're reaching out to somebody, especially because Kate put in here, reaching out to people I know from the past or high school to let them know I'm in real estate, I don't want to feel salesy. Totally get that. So Kate, reach out to everyone you know and build relationships. Reach out to them. How are you? How's your family? How's work going? Right? When you ask them that, they're going to ask you back. So they're going to ask you how work's going. Then you get to tell them, oh my gosh, I just started a new job in real estate. I'm so excited. You don't have to take it beyond that if it's not comfortable. And then the next time the door is open, right? So
can I add to that?
Sure.
Or to add to Kate, because my thing is like, they see that I'm on real estate. So my limited belief is like, oh, he's reaching out to me because he wants me to, he wants to buy or sell something. So that's what my limited belief is. And actually had one incident out of the few that I've done that said, we like got good. We started talking about kids and everything, but then she goes, what are you calling me for? Like, you've never done this. And I'm just like, oh, I know it's a business text, I'm sorry, I just want to see if you know anybody. She goes, oh yeah, no, I'll keep you in mind. And then we ended it there. So it was like super awkward,
So can I give you a suggestion if that happens again?
Definitely.
So if that happens again and somebody says, hey, you don't usually do this, why are you really calling me? I would say, you know what? I have realized that I don't reach out to the people I know enough. And so I'm really just wanting to reconnect with people. That's why I'm calling to see how you're doing. Don't bring up real estate.
Okay. Yeah, because it was awkward after. I'm like, well, yeah, this kind of is just a business call.
Yeah.
Or business text,
Not have to fess up to that. This is to build relationships, not harm them. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are coming from contribution and reaching out, because we think about this. These people you're reaching out to, do you want Joe Schmo realtor down the street who does not care about anything but collecting a paycheck take care of them? Or do you, as their personal friend or family member, want to take care of them, giving them the best care possible? So if you're not making the calls and you're not reaching out, Joe Schmo is guaranteed. Who do you want helping your people? Okay, everybody, have a great day. Make sure you're on Daily Kickstart, reaching out to people. Remember, we're building relationships. We're not being salesy.